I'm 20 years old. I find myself in a perpetual state of meditation and existential exploration. So I sign up for a study program in India, hoping to discover something invariably true about myself or the world around me.
We touched down in New Delhi for a week of orientation, a week to adjust to the high temperatures, the new diet, and the culture. This is just enough time to arrive, to take in some first impressions, and then leave, and all of it quickly fades into the passing landscape on the train to my destination, Bodh Gaya. Delhi is the 5th most populated city in the world. The sheer absence of external space reminds me of how important my quest for inner peace is becoming.
Draw pictures. I make pictures with this.
Yes.
Everyone wants to know why I'm here and where I'm going. That's funny, I think. I'm trying to figure that out myself.
Bodh Gaya, very famous, very good place. We're going to study Buddhism for 3 months.
Traveling all this distance is an exciting distraction from myself. I see countless eyes, those fading, staring eyes, never to be seen again. I wonder about them, if they truly know who they are. And after over 8,000 miles in just 2 weeks, I remember that I really have no idea what I am getting into. The anticipation is very heavy. Arriving in Bodh Gaya, a small town in the agricultural region of Bihar. It is very crowded and poor. It is a sacred pilgrimage destination for the entire Buddhist world. It is where the Buddha attained enlightenment, and it is where I am staying for the fall semester, to engage in the spiritual search for my true self. I am staying in the guest house of a Burmese Buddhist monastery. The study program consists of daily lectures in Buddhist philosophy and meditation theory. We also take a language course and practice meditation 2 hours a day. So before it begins, I decide to check in with myself and see where I am at. As I try to sit in meditation, I encounter the same confusion that I felt at home. And now that the time has come to address it, my mind just wanders away, afraid. And I don't want to stop to face it. I want to run away.
I have been running all my life, searching for something I call happiness. I believe that happiness is not possible now, in the here and the now. That is why I have been running to the future to seek for a few more conditions of happiness. I don't want to run anymore. I have arrived. So when I make a step, mindfully, I say I have arrived. It means I go home to the present moment. I don't want to run anymore. And that step is a real revolution. It shows my determination to stop, not to run anymore. And you cannot make such a step if you don't invest 100% of your body and your mind into that step. With 100% of your body and your mind, you become concentrated. And with one step, you can bring yourself to a full stop.
As meditation classes begin, I learn that the wandering, agitated mind is what meditation is for. With the sacred renunciation of becoming a monk, our identity changes. We have new names, and we are members of the Sangha, the community of monks. So Saya Ula Mint, a Burmese meditation master who was a monk for 20 years, guides us through this process in the first month of meditation.
If we know life is very short, we are going to die one day, that knowledge is very valuable to keep our mind calm and peaceful, to purify our mind of mental defilements like jealousy, greed, hatred, and something like this. Which age we are going to die, we don't know. And also we don't know which place we are going to die. So life is very uncertain. Although we are sure we are going to die someday. So that's why knowing the truth or knowing the fact of the life is a kind of enlightenment.
Repeatedly recollecting the possibility of dying at any moment is very settling for my mind. It helps me adjust to the reality of life and death here, where desperate, hungry eyes wait outside our monastery gates every night. This old monk is homeless. He wanders and sleeps in the halls of our monastery. He eats leftovers from our kitchen. Old age, sickness, and death are visible every day. By halfway through the first month, I finally feel comfortable in this environment, and I feel ready to do what I came here to do. So I ask U Lamint how meditation will help me overcome my confusion and understand my true self.
The mind defined with the defilements is powerless, very weak. So the main point is the certain level of concentration is called jhana. Jhana means, in essence, high level concentration. Naturally, when your mind is concentrated, you feel happy, very pleasant feeling. Initial attention, sustained attention, and rapture, and happiness, and strong concentration, all together 5 factors. So that's the first jhana.
There are two main forms of meditation U Lamint teaches us. Shamatha, the practice of developing concentration, and Vipassana, the practice of being aware of thoughts and sensations as they arise and pass away. Benefits of shamatha are noticeable in class. Vipassana improves my ability to be aware of what my mind does. And the simplicity of being a monk allows me to slow down and develop these faculties of my mind. But as my time as a monk approaches its end, I notice the tendency of my mind to speed up, to become excited, and wander once again. Watching where it goes, I discover something very important. In my free time, I notice that there is a dream I continue to have. It takes form in different ways, but it is always the same. It is a dream of a very peaceful place, an oasis, a sanctuary I can go to if I feel scared or dissatisfied. It is a place of bliss, a dream of what heaven might be like, where everything satisfies my craving, my hopes, and alleviates any pain. It is a dream of an enlightenment, of what it might be like. But when I go there, I can see I'm not really there. I'm still here, lost, in a maze, trying to make my dream real. It's interesting, meditation. It allows for me to see how this dream has become a problem, how it has been shaping my life, how impossibly I am trying to be happy by physically getting to this imaginary place, how I am only trying to change my external conditions, how I have ignored the possibility of changing my internal conditions until now. So I begin to see the benefit of working with my inner experience, and that I'm not the only one.
Do you feel like you will feel satisfied at some point in this practice of reaching a certain level, of finding something?
If I became satisfied, I mean, I'd be done. It'd be complete, achieved. I think eventually it'll drop away. My necessity, the need to be satisfied.
Do you feel a desire?
Yeah, sure. Today I felt it. There was like, earlier in the morning, we were meditating, and then during the meditation lecture, he was talking about enlightenment, and anytime anybody talks about enlightenment, I start getting this like clenching surge of energy. It's just like needing to know, needing to have it already, feeling. And I was watching it, and there was really intense desire, this intense like longing to know.
Longing for enlightenment.
Longing for like the answer, whatever that means. It's abstract.
But
It doesn't presuppose an answer. It's just the experience is this really painful question.
You need an unmistaken glimpse of true nature. Keep going until you get what you need. I mean, this is about our potential of mind, right? So it's like, it's so important what we're investing in. Investing in a path that's supposed to guide you to develop your mind in a certain way.
Now moving into the second month, I have learned that I must give up my dream of an answer in order to fully commit to meditation practice. And that this may be difficult and require a lot of perseverance. There is an old Buddhist saying that likens meditation to a raft. And moving now into the teachings of Zen, I feel like I am finally stepping on the raft, and appropriately, not knowing where I will end up.
We should not be thinking or comparing, because thinking and comparing is like using a sheet of nylon to receive the idea, and it prevents the rain of the Dharma to penetrate. The intellect is not everything. Even if we receive a lot of ideas and notions, that does not help us to suffer less.
Zen identifies the wandering thinking mind as the main obscuration to our true nature.
Obviously, there is a distinct culture. In the West, thinking culture. Never stop, never be able to stop that more. Culture, or I think, therefore I am, definitely really thinking, leading to the stressful life. Never able to stop. Never learned how to stop. Stop.
The imperative to stop is almost a direct contradiction to life here. The chaos of India is the ultimate challenge to stay centered.
Mind works as it works. Let's learn nature of the mind. You never learn nature of your mind without stopping.
We are taught to stay still, to keep form. This is to create space for the mind and allow the mind to settle.
Simply not thinking. Peace is there. Life is there. Nurturing is in there. So learn not to think, but don't sleep. Just aware. Just to be. It's the most difficult things probably. That the person, like a human, life is carried out in that mode. It get out from most difficult.
Sensei says the true nature of mind is like space, to let thoughts come into that space and fall away. Then we will see that space. But all I see are thoughts, repeating over and over again. And Sensei's lectures become more complex.
In Zen, there is no east, no west. It's all in the mind. Thinking mind. Discriminating mind. In reality, there is no east, neither east nor west. That is the foundation. There is no Buddha. Zen man doesn't follow the Buddha, but Buddha follows Zen man. We practice Zen in that way.
I grow impatient. I feel powerless against my wandering thoughts. In Sensei's koans, irrational riddles just feel frustrating.
Those statements are, as I understand it, intended to create a gap in concepts so that you actually look. In that moment of looking, there's this naked awareness. If you understand or directly experience the true nature of that naked awareness, it's non-dual, free from sense of self. But that has to be really direct experience. You can't think it. You can think it, but that's an object in mind. It's not true nature of mind. So you have a picture of it in your mind, but the direct experience is of essence of mind itself.
The difficulty of meditation practice is beginning to make me feel apprehensive. And I dread the walk to the meditation hall. It feels like I'm walking the gauntlet, to a title fight. And the opposition? Is my own mind. Sometimes finding out the thoughts that are in your mind and being left alone with them is terrifying. Bad thoughts, feelings, and emotions stay too long. They feel inescapable. And good thoughts, feelings, and emotions don't stay long enough. Any type of balance or true nature seems impossible to find. Being raised Catholic, my habitual way of thinking is to reject the bad and work to keep the good. But all of these thoughts feel like they're a part of me, and I don't want to stay to watch them fight. I want to go back to my dream, to imagine someplace better and try to get there. But then a different part of me says stay and watch what happens. And so I feel fundamentally divided, like I have never felt before.
Just total contradictions in me existing at the same time, and it feels like they're like there's different parts of me that have totally different views of the world, and they don't fit together. They don't, and they're both inside me, and I think both of them. It's weird.
There's a couple roles that we all play.
Yeah. That's what it feels like.
So despite the possibility that he might confirm my fears, I ask Sensei about the nature of mind. If my mind could actually be divided, and if I am incapable of knowing my true self.
Where you are is one world. And there's no separate from you. Anything. There is a dualistic thing separate you and something around you. It's whole world. One Buddha, one world. The world of Buddha, many Buddhas appears, but in each world, respective world. But that one Buddha, one world. But dualistic thinking divides that. Here I am, here you are, different space. So, that kind, you and me. So basic thing is separation. Time-wise and space-wise. No other space. But we imagine there's another space. We are here, you are here, in India, Bodh Gaya, but your family is somewhere, so-called United States. There's no such a place exists actually. All you have is this space. One Buddha, one world. One world has only one Buddha is a kind of standard of the Buddhism expression. That's related to the non-dualism.
The idea of my home and my family, or anything outside this present moment not existing, is a nice abstract philosophical theory, and it's not that convincing. At first. But I begin to understand that viewing my experience in terms of these divisions may be the source of tension in my mind. It is the belief that there are different parts of me, that there are different parts of the world, fundamentally split from each other, that allows tension between them to exist. The Buddhist teachings of non-duality point to a space in which I can rest from the habit of the dividing mind. At first, the idea that I'm being converted or brainwashed teases me. But the more I settle into it, the more I can feel the fundamental truth of it. It's frightening to give up the ground that I've been standing on for most of my life, to look out over the edge and prepare to jump. But considering my desire to understand myself, I press on to understand the true nature of mind.
The only difference between this awareness and Buddha nature is this illusion of separate self. But that's not a very solid thing. That's what you guys have been studying. All the skandhas and the negative emotions and habitual tendencies that create that illusion of separateness. Although all of this is unfolding in awareness. So for a realized master, there isn't that separateness, this sense of separateness, this wall of ego. So he abides in the natural state. That is our true nature. We're just not recognizing it. When you were a kid, you never laid on the grass and until you were falling into the sky. There's something happening in the mind there. It's opening up in a way. That actually might be merging into this state of non-dual awareness. But there was not a teacher with the framework of spiritual path to make clear the significance of that experience. So it's just like, oh yeah, nice, wow. But actually that may be the same thing happening, but it's not being recognized because it's not being clearly, directly pointed to. And someone saying, this is the nature of mind.
Moving into the third month, I've learned that I must give up my attachment to my dream of an answer and attachment to my thoughts. The third month incorporates Tibetan practices, which include the analytical examination of the main question: what is the self?
Like, what do you think they mean when they say, like, there's no I, there's no self? Because it's not so clear to me, like, a lot of what, you know?
It's just sensation followed by another sensation, followed by another sensation in the mind's field. That can't be labeled as anything personal or impersonal.
And self, on the other hand, is
that language, that English, you cannot make a complete sentence without stating subject. I'm talking to you. That is in structure, in mode of the thinking. That's how try to communicate on that level. Okay. but never be able to transcend because start relying on that tools, language. So dropping of the tools is the initial importance.
The investigation into the self requires a movement beyond intellectual tools, because it is beyond the intellect. It is experiential. Inquiring in this way, we discover conditions that our idea of the self is based upon more than we discover anything concrete.
Nothing lasts long, like the soul. So every moment, different person, different phenomena, changing moment by moment. Every moment, different mind, different body. Every moment, new phenomena, replacing. So, but changing is so fast. That's why you cannot see the impermanence. You think everlasting.
As much as I thought meditation would acquaint me with my deepest self, it's actually suggesting an experience absent of what we call the self. I can feel deep-rooted values beginning to shift, and true compassion, a selflessness I can actually feel, begins to emerge. Meditation is a much different experience now than it was at the start. I feel more open, less distracted by the story of myself, and consequently less confused. The increased motivation at this point is not only mine. Many of the other students see the benefits of continuing practice. Suddenly, I feel deeply involved, invested in developing the potential of my mind. I never thought this much of a change could happen so fast.
How has this experience changed you?
New roads were paved in my mind. Roads were paved in my mind.
I have always heard that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But it took a lot to really learn that. And I learned that I don't need to fly across the world to experience the conditions of happiness. The conditions of happiness only exist inside.